we'll see what happens with Kyler and the Cardinals. But within their division, the San Francisco 49ers also made a big move at the start of training camp. They have officially ushered in the Trey Lance era here in 2022. The general manager, John Lynch, and the head coach, Kyle Shanahan, had their State of the Union press conference prior to training camp, and they said, we are starting and we are going forward with Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo will no longer be the quarterback of the 49ers. Before we get into all the Jimmy G stuff, I want to focus in on Trey Lance. What should we expect from him in 2022? Because he only started 2 games last season. This is essentially his rookie year, as far as I'm concerned.
No doubt. I mean, but look, he's got a good quarterback coach in Kyle. And obviously, he's had a whole offseason to prepare. I mean, last year he had no time to really learn the offense, even though we kept reading how great he was at practice. When we actually saw him play, it wasn't very good. He's going to have to show that he can throw the ball with different speeds, different velocities. He's a big kid. He's got a great arm. You know, they're going to run a scheme that fits what he can do. I mean, I think it's a little premature to say bet him for the MVP. I know we have somebody that has promoted that on our network. Like, I mean, seriously, you want to bet him for the MVP? Just make a St. Jude's play. Like, it's, you know, just get him to be a good player. Don't worry about him being a great player. If he was a great player, he would have played last year. You know, so I just think, to me, until we see him, I don't really know what to do with the 49ers. I mean, some people think they'll win 5 games. I think they're really good on defense. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll run the football, and I think Kyle's a really good offensive coach. But I think he's going to have to make some plays and not make mistakes. And so I don't know how good Lance is. You know, he didn't play his senior year, so he missed that time. He really didn't play last year. So this will be the first time. But he gets all the reps in practice. He gets all the game exposure. You know, it's time. I mean, look, we'll see if they made the right decision. If they should have picked Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones is. I mean, you put Mac Jones on the 49ers. What do you think their numbers are? Just think about that for a second. If you put Mac Jones on the 49ers, now I know all the analytical people, especially some of the geniuses, think that, you know, that they shouldn't have picked him. The reality of it is you put Mac Jones, what do you think Vegas has sets their win-loss total at?
I think there's a little bit more certainty on what they're going to be doing in 2022 than it is right now with Trey Lance.
Yeah, no doubt. But look, I'm not of the mindset that I begin with the end in mind. Like, I would have picked Mac Jones over Trey Lance. I thought he fit Kyle's offense way better. Mm-hmm. However, that being said, I think you got to give this some time to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's really fascinating because I think of all the Super Bowl contenders that we talk about, the Bills, Bucks, Rams, Chargers, Broncos, whoever you want to throw in there, the Ravens, if you want to throw them in as well, the Niners are the one team to where I keep coming back to, and I don't know what to expect. And for me, as someone who likes to bet on these things, I get scared because I almost think that, wow, I could be betting on all these different teams to win the Super Bowl or to do these big things. But if Trey Lance ends up being good, the Niners could eventually be a juggernaut. Because you think about how well they played last year at the end of the season. The defense was really good. They were a dropped interception away from going to the Super Bowl. I think we oftentimes forget that. This team could
with
be
Jimmy G at quarterback.
With Jimmy G at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's why I'm not really ready to say they're not going to go over the win total. I think, to me, there's a lot to be determined. And they're going to end up getting – Nick Bosa was great. We've already talked about him. Mm-hmm. They'll get Samuel redone so that they're going to get their core players back. And if they can stay healthy, if Kittle can play all 17 games and that offensive line can stay healthy, certainly they will. But their head coach is a really good offensive coordinator. You know, he really does a good job of game planning specifically each week. So he'll put Lance in the right place. He's just going to have to execute. And he can't throw the ball like he's a jugs machine. Like last year, he just threw everything was fastballs. Like, I'm just going to throw it as hard as I can. You got to have a little touch and a little savvy to your game.
Do you think Kyle Shanahan was the one that was initially sold on Lance, or did John Lynch and some of the other scouts had to sell Kyle on this guy as the next guy for them?
I was told this reliably, that when Kyle was in Chicago a year ago, he watched Mac Jones, and that was why they made the trade. And then Adam Lynch and Adam Peters and John Lynch kind of ganged up and said that Lance is the value. And I think they converted him and changed him. You know, mm-hmm. Anybody who wants to dispute that, feel free to do it. That's fact. What I'm just saying is fact. That you could dispute it, they can deny it all they want. That's fact. I mean, I know that. So, and I'm not saying that to justify anything, but when Kyle watched Mac Jones, when I watch Mac Jones, when anybody who knows Kyle watches Mac Jones, they say, well, that guy fits. But I think Peters and Lynch felt like they needed to go bigger. And this is all really going to come down to how well they did that, because they gave up a lot to get him.
Do you think that's a healthy way to go about it from a general manager and head coach, the cohesion there? Because almost to me, it feels like the pushback the discourse, I think, is healthy just to get the coach out of his comfort zone. Because I almost think about Jimmy Garoppolo as, this Coming to America. I'm sure you've seen it, Eddie Murphy, one of the best comedies that has ever been out there. But there's that scene in the beginning of the movie where he's supposed to marry that one lady that he's set up with. And Eddie Murphy's character, Prince Hakeem, is asking her, trying to get to know her. And he says, all right, what do you like to do? And she says, whatever you like. What kind of food do you like? Whatever food you like. Jimmy Garoppolo almost feels like he's that kind of guy for Kyle Shanahan. All right, Kyle, what's the play? How do we do this? I will do that. Maybe he needed something else to challenge him.
No, because remember, when he trades for Jimmy, he gets Jimmy on a discount deal because the Patriots had decided that they needed to get something for Jimmy at the trade deadline. So they take him with no intention of signing him to a contract. None. They were going to take him and feel like if they can get him to play good, they'll transpose him into maybe they'll get a first round, they'll get their second, but their whole plan was to sign Kirk Cousins. Their whole plan was to sign Kirk Cousins. They trade for Jimmy and they get Jimmy, and Jimmy wins 5 games at the end of the year and plays great. They got no choice now. Like, he revived their franchise. He's won 33 games for them. They revived their franchise. So now, all of a sudden, they got Jimmy. They can get him cheaper. It makes more sense to go with Jimmy. So Kyle had to be talking to Jimmy. And then once he got Jimmy, it was okay. Now, maybe that'll be the same thing that happens with Lance. He got talked into Lance, and maybe Lance will grow on him because he's got a year to coach him, a year to develop him, all those things. We'll see. I mean, it's interesting how they're going to work. He needs reps in the preseason, so it'll be fascinating. I mean, he's praising Sermon. He said Sermon looks like a different back. They got Mitchell back there. I mean, they're going to run the football. We know that. They're going to be a problem. He's going to have to make some plays, and he's got to be accurate with the football. We'll see if he can do that. I'm not anti-Lance. I just watched Mac Jones, and Mac Jones, to me, was a better player at a higher level of comp who fit Kyle's offense better.
Thanks for watching the GM Shuffle with Michael Lombardi. And for more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to VSiN Live and the GM Shuffle podcast with Michael Lombardi, presented by DraftKings and VSiN, wherever you get your podcasts.